You know, Joe and I were 25 at the age of 19. I loved suffering and I hate love. If you come from a family that makes less than $125 trillion, you are killed. I'm coming for you.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
Having like lived in the Metro East, I finally made peace with it. It's all right. But the one thing I realized, like, the Metro East is the land of the tweaker.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this.
You didn't know this?
I didn't know this because, like, going to work, man, like, there's, like, no one on the road.
Okay.
Except for, like, dudes in their early 40s just absolutely hauling ass on mountain bikes. It's, like, 4:30 in the morning. All of the lights are, like, flashing red. Like, I have to go down, like, the main street in the town I live in. And they will, like, it looks like how they come out, jutting out of these side streets, they spin, like, 2 or 3 blocks heading towards the main street. Just like fucking like 15-year-olds that stole their first beer from the corner store, kind of just like fucking the handles are going left and right, just like 50 degrees each direction.
Oh shit!
Just
okay.
like just doing that shit in the
tearing
second,
ass,
and then the second they get close,
okay,
they just coast. They're like literally just coasting straight into the street.
Huh?
And I like said something to a coworker about it, and he was like, "Oh, I was over in like another town in the Metro East, like getting my tattoo worked on." And I was busting a cigarette in the back, and there's just like 2 tweakers staring at the AC. 2 random dudes.
Oh, like they're gonna take the copper out of it?
I think what he was implying is that they were so high they were just like, "Yo, man, that's making a sound."
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking like they're so high, but they're also entrepreneurs and
they're
thinking
scrapping?
ahead. Yeah, they're scrapping. Yeah. I got guys in a white truck that come down this alley are scrapping like every day.
I do not see the entrepreneurial spirit in the Metro East tweaker. I have almost hit one like probably a half dozen times turning into my neighborhood because they'll hide like in this weird little blind spot on the turn.
Okay.
But they're just like hanging out in like a fucking 90s Huffy.
I know the exact bike you're talking about too, just like in my mental image. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a weird dark bluish black.
Yep. I had that one.
And it's got like white and like hyper color yellow script on the crossbar.
And it says the big block text says Huffy.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost like a graffiti hand script a little bit. Yeah, and it's like, how would you like? There's like probably some dude that lives in your neighborhood, Jason, that paid like $500 for that bike.
Oh, easy.
But how you can get those 2 people in the link up? Like it's oil and water.
It used to be Craigslist, but you can't do that shit anymore. Craigslist just is not the same.
You can't even sell feet pics on there anymore. That's a fucking shame.
It's a goddamn shame, is what it is.
Oh, before we, start fucking this chicken. Got a little here. I got something in here.
Okay,
and it's not.
Ooh,
it's admissible evidence.
God. Oh my God! Is a complete the complete part 1 of Brian K. Vaughan's saga. Oh baby,
yes sir.
Image Comics number 1 through 54. Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, it's everything they did before the like 3-4 year long hiatus.
Wow. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Thank you.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
This is the second comics-based thing I got for the old birthday. The other one was my wife was in upstate New York at a bookstore and just kind of wandering around, and she sees a Rorschach book, a trade paperback, a hardcover of this story that I'd never read, which is like so many years after the original Watchmen book. Where
was it like the Midnight Clock or whatever?
No, not
or Doomsday Clock. Or
yeah,
whatever.
it's not those ones. It's actually just called Rorschach. And I'd never heard of this before, but I mean, I chewed through that. It's fantastic. So I'm ready for Saga. I've been told so many times that Saga is going to be my jam. So I'm. Oh man,
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The new stuff since they've restarted it's good, but it's such a quick read.
Yeah,
in the individual collections that it's tough.
That's how I feel about Chainsaw Man. Every time there's a new Chainsaw Man, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Give me the new stuff. Yeah. I'm a tweaker for Chainsaw Man. Apparently.
You're hanging out behind the Bugs comics by Clock Tower.
Yeah, rubbing my arm. Come on, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
Let me Well, it's 48 minutes of dogs barking. My name's Jason. This is Brian. Hey, babies. Oh, what a weird week on the internet.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot more about politics on this show, and it's not going to let up until after the election, I imagine. And this week had a dynamite story. One of the candidates had a bit of had his. He knows.
Well,
what
you
I'm saying.
think it can't get any fucking weirder?
Now, we've talked about, I think we did, about RFK Jr. dumping a dead bear in Central Park in New York. However,
The guy that talks like Ned from South Park.
yeah, he's got a real.
Let me tell you.
The poor guy. I mean, he's had like vocal polyps and shit. Like he's got some real problems. But Axios reporting environmental group calls for investigation of RFK Jr. chainsawing whale head. That's right, folks. According to this is April Rubin writing this for Axios. The former presidential candidate may have committed a felony by transporting a marine mammal skull, the Center for Biological Diversity Action Fund said. So, according to a profile in Town and Country magazine from 2012, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? He cut off a whale's head with a chainsaw in or around 1994 after finding out it washed up on Island. I'm going to have to beep that because we don't say that word. In Hyannisport, Massachusetts, his daughter Kick Kennedy said. First of all, Kick? Really?
Yeah.
Kick Kennedy. All
I
right.
thought we shoot them.
So according to this Town and Country profile, he bungee corded the whale head to the roof of the family's minivan and drove it from Hyannisport, Massachusetts to Mount Kisco, New York. Quote, every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car. It was the rankest thing on the planet. Continuing the quote, we all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us. Jesus fucking Christ.
The Kennedys are insane people.
Right. I mean, that's kind of established. Like we know Teddy's a weirdo. We know like all the other brothers are odd, but like Bobby Jr. just I don't know, man.
Behind the Bastards is like a 4-parter.
Oh
on
God,
him.
yeah, they sure did.
And I've only gotten through like 2 or 3 episodes, but they're just chock full of like this. Any other person that grew up like this or had this mentality would have been shot by their neighbor.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like that person is only able to. He's only been able to be his level of freak because his family are freaks.
Yeah,
and there happen to be like the richest, most, they talk about Camelot and everything. That they thought that we were going to basically create like a monarchy in the U.S. government in the 50s and 60s.
And for a while there, for a couple of years, it seemed like that was going to happen, and then no. No, a series of crazy things just kept coming to light. And, everybody in the QAnon world believes that JFK Jr., John, is coming back someday.
Well, he's already back. He's hiding as Richard Foster.
Yeah, Vincent Fusca.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the guy who was there when Trump was shot at.
The fact that you can see him
grinning his ass off in the background.
The whole is so fucking insane.
It's surreal to think that there was an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. And we've all just kind of gone, eh.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, but it's that we literally cannot give
two
less
shits
of a shit.
Yeah, we've memory hold it. Is it because it was Trump? Is it because there was no real good motive? It's so weird.
I think the no motive, the fact that it wasn't like the wound that he got was so superficial.
Right.
The news cycle just moved on super quick because of Sleepy Joe. He's talking like the fucking Godfather pigeon from Animaniacs.
I was thinking like the Crypt Keeper, Marlon Brando combo. At least the Crypt Keeper had the presence of mind to make jokes and laugh.
Yeah.
Joe Biden was just kind of like, hey, I got lotion on my dick right now.
I'm stroking my shit. Oh. I was the first guy to eat ass.
The only reason you ever heard of busting is because of guys like me.
A real pecker checker at the urinal.
The guys at work, they check my hole.
They've been working.
It's not a joke.
They've been working me over with dildos at the Pentagon.
Oh yeah.
They say they're curing lung cancer by throat fucking me. Sick. Boy, I was about to say some wild shit.
Baby, it's okay.
I was really going somewhere that wasn't good. It was absolutely positively not in the Bible.
Freak her ass out, Tone.
Balls in her ass. Why am my Joe Biden's turn in the jack? Balls in her ass.
Oh yeah.
Dick in the pussy. Freak her out, Hunter.
Anyway, another weird thing that happened on the internet this week, aside from finding out that a Kennedy chainsawed a whale head and put it on his car, was that a TikTok actually made a difference. Strange as this may sound. So a young woman by the name of Maggie Mae Wilson was enjoying a twisted tea. Brian, are you familiar with the twisted tea?
It's a thing you can swing really hard at a racist's head and knock them out really quick.
There we go.
It's a little bit more effective than a soup can for your family.
Oh, that's right. That it was the video. The guy.
You remember that? Dude, that was like flawless motion. And he really harnessed the leverage of his arm to get the most force as he came around.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It should be studied in college.
Aside from being a weapon of anti-fascism, twisted tea is also apparently super gross. So this video by Maggie Mae Wilson talks about she went and got a twisted tea 12-pack and picked up one of the cans, cut it open because she felt something weird in there. Pours it out, nothing comes out, cuts the can open, and there is this weird, what appears to be, what looks to me like raw chicken breast in there. I mean, it looks
like a weird slurry. I'm sure it's just like whatever syrup they use that just like solidified. Not saying it's good. I'm not defending twisted tea. It's a foul product. You know, if you're going to drink shit like that, drink fucking a weed and water like a real fucking human being.
Many people were quick to jump in the comments and explain what that was, and I have a firm belief that this is actually what it was, which was the SCOBY. Now, you worked at a tea shop. You're familiar with what a SCOBY is?
Yeah, it's like the what you use to ferment. It's like fermented tea. It's kind of like the culture you use for like sourdough, but for tea.
Or kombucha or things like that, yes. So the consensus was, well, you got a bit of the SCOBY in your can. That wasn't enough for her, and so she went out and got a check. She posted a video, Twisted sent that check, and she's waving this check around while drinking twisted tea after saying in the previous video that she would never drink it again. So...
The sexy red.
Yes, too sexy red. And then most recently, if you go to her videos, POV, you just got free Twisteds for life, and now your friends don't answer. So either that check was really substantial, or the Twisted Tea people hooked her up for real. And so there she is, clanking the cans together, elevating someone who was just a normie poster to someone who actually got one over on the system. Fucking A. Let's hear it for the SCOBY.
The gross Alco Pop that you drank, and you're like, wow, this totally rancid thing that I put in my body. Turns out it was totally rancid.
Right. well, there's that too. But yeah, I mean, like the SCOBY's normal. It's part of the fermentation thing. I mean, it's not all that bad, but you know, it's a thing that you gotta look out for. If you're drinking your twisted teas, you're getting twisted off that tea. Just keep that in mind. Just gonna watch out for the SCOBY. To paraphrase Gloria Estefan, the SCOBY's gonna get you.
Oh, Jesus.
I gotta throw a dumbass dad joke in here every once in a while. Otherwise, people will think I'm actually, funny. So, do not want that to happen. This week in the Midwest, where we happen to reside, has been a hot one.
been fucking stupid.
Like 7 inches from the midday sun. And apparently there's a name for what is causing it. Brian, are you familiar with this?
I thought it was just, that the world is falling apart and there's nothing good left.
Yes, and it's also a phenomenon exclusive to the Midwest called corn sweat.
That's cursed.
So the basic idea is that corn does not like temperatures above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And so, in response, the corn plant will release liquid. That liquid then evaporates into the atmosphere, creating humidity for anywhere that the wind is blowing. Which, if you know anything about where corn grows, it's going to hit us right here in the Midwest, right there. Minneapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, Toronto even. Corn sweat is in the house. So
it has been unreasonably humid.
It has been absolutely insane.
Hate this weather.
Not a fan. I do think that the funniest thing is the graphic, though.
Just 4 ears of corn, like surrounding, like it's fucking Leaf Man's Power Up from Mega Man.
Yeah, they're just circling. Because it's got Missouri, Chicago,
Wisconsin,
little bits of Iowa, some up into Canada, but it's a circle of 4 corn cobs, and then a big arrow pointing towards where we are. It just says corn sweat. This is a screenshot taken from 4WWL Weather, and it's not the only one. The National Weather Service also issued a post on corn sweat. How Midwest humidity can get a boost by, quote, corn sweat during summer heat waves. So the largest production area goes from Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and then kind of brings it all on down.
Huh. Not a lot of Kansas.
No.
It's almost like people have been talking shit on Kansas for no reason.
Aside from it being Kansas, yeah.
Man, you know what? Kansas ain't half as boring as Indiana.
I'll give you that. No, look, having been to both, I will give you that, yes. If I have to choose, I'll choose Kansas. That's fine.
Kansas has Lawrence.
There is that, yes. And they're right on the border of Missouri, too, so you can, trek your ass.
You're like a half hour, 45-minute drive.
Yeah, not bad. But it's called evapotranspiration, is what corn sweat's technical name is. I don't know about you, but I'm going to say that a lot now that I know what it is. I'm going to say corn sweat. I'm just going to be walking around.
Give your wife the corn sweat.
Buddy, if you don't give your wife the corn sweats, I'm going to. Yeah.
It's a weird threat.
Very weird. So apparently 1 acre of corn gives off 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water a day. This according to National Weather Service in Sioux Falls.
That is upsetting information.
Isn't it? And the fact that this has been a thing since, corn was a thing, but a lot of us are just
pretty much been forever.
And we're just finding this out now? That corn sweat was a real thing? I've never heard. Have you ever heard this before? This is news to you too?
Yeah, this is completely new.
Okay, all right. Because I felt like I missed something.
Sure.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention when Al Roker was explaining something or something. No. Corn sweat, new phenomenon in my mind, but apparently it's been a thing. And I am baffled by the world in which we live.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The world is a terrifying and interesting place, and I don't know how I feel about it. You ready for Crypto Scam of the Week, brother?
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
Hey, brother. You want to learn about the crypto scam?
Yes, indeed. This here from Decrypt. And the headline says it all. McRugged. Hackers take over the McDonald's Instagram, make $700K on a fake Grimace token. So, Sander Lutz of Decrypt writing, a senior McDonald's employee appeared to suffer a social media hack on Wednesday. One that soon allowed culprits to promote a short-lived Grimace-themed Solana meme coin scam, across the fast food giant's prominent public-facing accounts. Late Wednesday morning, posts on both McDonald's Instagram page and the personal Twitter of Senior Marketing Director Guillaume Hyun began extolling a new Grimace token. The Solana meme coin was started on pump.fun because of course it was. On Hyun's Twitter, posts promised that Grimace holders who listed their Instagram accounts would soon be followed by McDonald's. That's number one. No, we're not doing that. We love and appreciate all support of Grimace, one such post read, accompanied by a photo of the ambiguous purple character, along with Ronald McDonald donning a protective face shield. This is that's weird. It's got to be like a Christmas time thing during COVID. I don't know. Very
There's
weird.
something there that's just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, why would you pick this holiday-ish looking image for your scam in the middle of August?
Right. It's baffling, isn't it?
Was more baffling is that people gave it money.
Right. Grimace surged 195,000% within minutes before the deployers, of course, rugged the liquidity. We know this routine. We've been around the block a few times. We know what's going to happen next. Token goes to zero. The hackers then returned to McDonald's Instagram account where they changed the company's bio to read, quote, "You have just been rug pulled," adding, "Thank you for the $700,000 in Solana."
You know, there's something really poetic about this.
Yeah?
Because in crypto, it's such a meme of when the market is, particularly when the bear market hit,
Right.
people talking about, fuck, I gotta go flip burgers at McDonald's because my fucking portfolio is ate shit, or I got rugged on this. It's such a meme of...
That's right.
There's
The McDonald's application posting every time there's...
Yeah.
That's right. I hadn't even put the two and two together, but you're right. Fuck. McDonald's of all fast food places. Specifically because of the riffs that have been done. Yeah.
Amazing.
I am stunned. Bubble Maps apparently did a look at this, and yeah, the hacker apparently used numerous addresses to purchase a vast majority of the tokens on Pump.Fun ahead of the price spike, 75% of the supply, because that's what you do when you're gonna take the money and run. Yeah, hacker owned 75% of the supply, used multiple addresses to buy, and spread to 100 addresses, sold for $700K. Here's the DJ news post with Grimace and the sunglasses. Just the images coming out of this are just truly bizarre. I love it. Baffling.
Absurd.
So yeah, apparently they identified themselves as India X Crew. As of writing, they have only thus far used the Telegram group to post the music video for the 2016 Juicy J song Blue Bentley, in which the artist repeatedly says, "I just cashed out. I just cashed out." Despite this, a Grimace token accumulated $20 million in trading volume in less than 2 hours.
That's insane.
This can happen, according to Decrypt, when crypto traders, fully aware that the token is a scam, try to get in on the rug.
Oh, yeah. You gotta get in there before they pull liquidity.
So the idea is to almost eBay snipe someone.
So I'm going to tell you something really fucking wild, is that in the previous bull cycle, when BSC, Binance Smart Chain, was like the fucking degenerate blockchain,
Okay.
one of the charting websites, PooCoin, which is like the big chart
I remembered
website.
this one, yes.
Yeah. Had a feature where you could select the chart to view every single block of the chart as it was being created. So you weren't on a 1 minute or a 30-second chart. You were on a block per block.
Oh, it was like real time.
That's like some fucking like smoking cigarettes in a basement in Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing a shirt that is covered in moss. Kind of like just degenerate shit.
Yeah.
When I found out about that and I like looked at it, saw how it worked, I'm like, that's when the scam only lasts like 3 minutes.
Tops.
Yeah. I've got to get Joker Pepe.
Yeah. I got to get in and then get out.
Yeah. Insane. There was last summer a scam token that had more volume in one day than USDC
That's the stable coin.
It's a stable coin. And I think it was like over $700 million. A shit coin.
I was going to say, because the GrimaceCoin was 20 million.
Yeah.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah. Isn't that...
I mean, that amount of money, I can't even fathom it. Like, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, okay, how many hours would I have to work?
Yeah, and there's still people out there that think like the admin's gonna come back to that project. I don't want to get into this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
But it is fucking insane the lies that people tell themselves in crypto, particularly when they go from being a investor to a community member, which is a nice way of saying you've become a bag holder.
Yes, yeah, you've gone from observer to sucker. But
yeah, wow.
What a week, baby!
So much fun. So tried so hard, and got so far.
Yeah,
and in the end, it didn't even matter.
That's true. You had to fall so far to lose it all, and in the end, doesn't even matter. That's right. We're talking about anime music videos, Brian. Is our main topic this week. Now, I did not know this until today. Because, again, sometimes we do a little bit of the research by what I like to term the seat of my pants. I did not know this today, but apparently the anime music video has a precedent in nerd culture that goes way farther back than we think. This is fun. 1975, a practice known as vidding was done. A Star Trek fan by the name of Candy Fong synced stills from Star Trek on a slide projector with accompanying music on a cassette player and did it live at conventions. The first one was Equicon/FilmCon in 1975, where it was celebrated as the source of new Star Trek stills. She performed her vids live at fan conventions and then eventually branched out to video cassettes. Now, vidding took on a life of its own. If you have two cassette decks, you can kind of play around with throwing different sources of video together and whatnot. But what we're talking about is specific to anime. Anime music videos came out of vidding, and they really came to their height of prominence in the 2000s. But this is another fun one. I remembered in a roundabout way, the first one of these I ever saw was official music video created by the label for Matthew Sweet. The 1991 album Girlfriend, the lead single Girlfriend, was composed of clips from an anime.
Really?
Yeah, it was an anime called Space Adventure Cobra. Have you ever seen?
I know the title. Someone
on Reddit r/AI Remastered did a nice remix of the music video. I'm just going to play it, and because it's AI, it looks kind of shitty, but
sometimes it looks really good when they do AI remasters.
But when they're doing it for like 80s anime, it just, especially if they're going from 24 frames to 60, it can be.
Yeah, this is kind of jittery.
Right. But these are all clips from Space Adventure Cobra, and this was the official music video that MTV played.
And Matthew Sweet, out of all people.
I know. Well, it seems to kind of align with the kind of nerdy persona he was putting out there with this album, though. So, I mean, it's not... And they did this great, the 3-part cut where they had footage of Matthew Sweet in front of a blue screen, and they had clips from the movie where it's the one character's eyes, then it's his eyes, then it's the other character's eyes, making it seem like this was animated specifically for this song, which is what I thought until years later. But yeah, 1991, it's the first one that ever broadcast on television. It's the anime music video for Matthew Sweet.
That's fucking wild.
Isn't it? 1991. I didn't realize it went back that long. But again, a lot of things I didn't realize went back that long. And eventually around the year 2007, anime music videos started taking off for real in the States. What's the first one you ever saw?
I think the first time I really became aware of AMVs was definitely the early days of YouTube, so 2006, 2007-ish. I want to say And I want to say probably the first time I really became aware of them was like searching YouTube or Google Video. Remember Google Video, folks?
Oh yeah.
That's how Google Video was really great if you wanted to watch old MST3K episodes that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yes.
But like searching like Beck.
Oh, okay.
So like trying to find, at the time, you got a little lucky and someone might have like, oh, here's Beck performing Mixed Business and like on German TV.
Oh,
You know, stuff like that. Like you got kind of lucky. You might find something, someone might re-upload something like that. Or upload something like that, or back performing Deborah at the VH1 Fashion Awards, which is, if it's still up, is worth watching.
It's a killer performance, yes.
Yeah, you know, my man's knows what I'm talking.
Yo, yeah, come on. That record, being a Prince fan and having that record come out, that was like someone else is doing Prince's whole deal. Let's go.
Yeah,
I had to have it. I had to have it.
But like scouring through that and trying to find stuff and like, I want to watch this fucking like anime shit. I don't want to watch Naruto Set to Loser or something like that.
Again, 2007, I think, is the first time I ever saw one, and that was one of those random LimeWire clips. I was searching for the Linkin Park video for something off Hybrid Theory. I can't remember what. Right, I think it might have been In the End. I might have been looking for the official video for In the End, which sucks, by the way. Don't bother. But but then I had like Dragon Ball Z, Linkin Park. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I downloaded it, waited like 2 hours to get this, and it turned out to be, you know, someone had cut together clips from Dragon Ball Z into this Linkin Park music video, and they are extremely skilled people. These people who made these anime music videos, they did lip sync and timing, and they did all these fancy edits, and like some of these people are fucking talented editors. Like they sat there and tweaked this shit. And at the time, you know, 2007, they were ripping DVDs and then putting it into, I'm trying to think, would it have been Avid maybe? Like one of the older video editors.
Avid, Sony Vegas maybe?
Vegas, yes, okay. I was trying to remember because I was working at a production studio around that time. And yeah, Avid was the big one, but that one costs a lot of money. It's like Pro Tools, you know. It's it's the big name. That's the one you use. Yeah, I keep wanting to say After Effects, but that's not right. Well, it got so big that the Japan Times online did an article about it, and this was Patrick Macias under the umbrella of Otaku, which was a regular column that Patrick did. The headline: Remix This. Anime gets hijacked. The subhead: fans defy copyright by ripping footage, then syncing it to music. And he profiles a Canadian gentleman by the name of Tim Park making Genshiken into a music video for the musical Avenue Q. Now, if you're familiar with Avenue Q, but Avenue Q is like, what if Wonder Shows Them was a musical?
Okay.
That's where everyone's a little bit gay. Everyone's a little bit racist. The internet is really great for porn. Like a lot of these songs kind of came from, that was Avenue Q. There was an entire community in 2007 of people doing this for shits and giggles at home. And because YouTube was still nascent, they could kind of get under the radar. You could kind of sneak these things in because, you know, copyright. And like you said, there would be whole episodes of TV shows on there. There would be.
That's how I watch most of Wonder Shows. The stuff that I hadn't seen on actual broadcast was going on YouTube and like, here's Wonder Shows in season 1, episode 3,
wow.
part 1 of 8. You know, and sometimes you wouldn't get in the referral. And I don't even think you could sometimes, because I think you could sometimes even anonymously upload at that time. So you had to like get really lucky with the search to find like all 8 clips to make the full episode.
It had to be like S1E01 dash, you know, whatever.
And even if you went like, okay, that was 2 of 3, and you would like search that whole entire
string
title, but 3 of 3, that doesn't mean you're going to get the third.
No, you were never going to get it. Apparently, there was even at the time an NPR piece done on what they call the Iron Editor competition, where anime music videos were created while the clock ran. and Stanford University professor and digital age guru Lawrence Lessig. Wait, that's a name.
I've met him.
Yeah.
He was wearing really tiny glasses.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. But he showed AMV clips in his lectures to demonstrate how, quote, creativity is being strangled by the law. That law being copyright law.
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence Lessig is one of the co-creators of the Creative Commons. So
Yep.
yeah.
He's my dude. I love him for that reason and that reason alone. But also the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, got involved, citing AMVs on YouTube as examples of user-generated media that should be monitored by people rather than automatic censorship of filtering software. And they are right on that front as well. I mean, the EFF in general has been right more times than they've been wrong, and I will give them the benefit of every doubt I have. But again, the EFF and Lawrence and Creative Commons have always been on the right side of people doing what Kirby Ferguson would say, everything's a remix.
Yeah.
AMVs being a remix is probably the biggest example of fandom creating content that I've seen before things like fan cams and things like that came about. Because, I mean, if you think about it, what is a fan cam but really a short music video of clips of something set to music you like?
Yeah.
So, now, according to Wikipedia, the first anime music video was created in 1982 by 21-year-old Jim Kapotsis. He hooked up 2 VCRs and edited the most violent scenes from Star Blazers to the Beatles song All You Need Is Love. which is brilliant, by the way. I have not seen it, but I can see it in my mind's eye. I know Star Blazers. If you're not familiar, Star Blazers is a space opera about a battleship in space, and of course, being a war show, there's a lot of violence in it. And doing that to the tune of "All You Need Is Love" is like, yeah, okay, that tracks. That's the kind of irony that some of these AMVs are really trafficking in. Now, as they progressed, as they got older, 2010, 2011, a lot of the jokiness left.
Yeah, there was, my weird niche knowledge. There was an anime convention. Maybe this is in your notes. A Japanese anime convention where they every single year there would be an original bit of animation set to a song which they did not have the rights to. I'm trying to think of what the fuck it's called off the top of my head. This is the one I'm thinking of is set to Twilight by ELO.
Daikon.
Yeah. Have you ever seen this?
I have, actually, because, fun fact, Daikon and the Daikon 3 was where Hideki Anno, creator of Evangelion, got his start, was doing a small piece of animation for Daikon 3.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so now what's different about Daikon is that these were amateur animators creating their own animation to a piece of music, as opposed to taking something that existed. They're copyright all over the place. Here's Project Echo. Here's Godzilla.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's neat.
Oh, absolutely. Here's a bit from Gundam. Here's a bit from Macross. There's the Star Trek. There's Star Blazers. I mean, things get dropped in there. Daikon 3 in particular pissed off LucasArts because it included Darth Vader as one of the people that the characters are kind of fighting against. So
yeah, and it's like a samurai fight or something. Yeah,
yes, it's brilliant, and it's all this like girl in a bunny suit on a Silver Surfer surfboard.
Yeah, like the Playboy Club girl outfit. Yeah.
Yes. Daikon definitely pushed the limits as far as copyright infringement went, but all of their animation was original, as opposed to AMVs, which were taking stuff that already existed. The history of Daikon 3 in particular, I'm still looking for a good copy. All the stuff I've seen on YouTube is just, 5th generation VHS
it's
dubs.
Fucking mothballed.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's so, I think someone had a laser disc once upon a time, but I still haven't seen a copy of that yet. The popularity of AMVs prior to YouTube led to the creation of a site called animemusicvideos.org.
No shit.
Yeah, so since you said no shit, that tells me that you weren't on this site regularly. Yeah, I was. Because the fan forum that I was on, it was Anime 2000. It was the forum that I was on. And regularly there would be new links. Hey, the new AMV for this show is up. Or the new AMV for Blue Seed is up, or the new AMV for Evangelion is up. And of course, me being the Evangelion nerd, I would just go for it. It is still up today. This website is still accessible. It is very Web 1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. It still says copyright 2024. But if you go through into the history of it, they did say they started it December of 2000. Again, the site's still up 24 years later. That's mind-blowing to me, especially something that really does kind of deal in what is essentially copyright infringement. But it's completely funded by users, donator supported, which I always love. Mm-hmm. And these types of things happen all the time, and I'm sure I'll talk about it in a future episode. But there's a great website called Fan Edits, where, much like with the anime music videos, people who are wanting to fix movies that they love will go back and edit them in After Effects.
Can't wait to get out of Africa, Martha.
Yeah, well, they'll go back and they'll fix what they perceive to be flaws in a movie, and then they'll put it up somewhere, and then Fan Edits kind of is the Wikipedia for them.
Yeah.
And so I love this stuff. Not specifically the anime music videos, because sometimes they're like, okay, all right, I get it. But I think the idea of remixing and taking something you like and mashing it up with something that everyone likes, like a Queen song or a Radiohead tune, and creating something new out of it has always been, in my mind, like what the internet is for.
Yeah.
Copyright be damned.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the internet was its most interesting when it was about sharing media and ideas and interests, and a lot less about whatever the fuck Andrew Tate's going on about or culture war shit.
And I'm sure some of the guys that created some of these DBZ music videos are probably Andrew Tate fans, but I'm not. They don't let that show through in the work, I think is what. Like, you can have those opinions and you can be online. I just don't want to hear about it. Show me, Linkin Park.
show me Kids in the Hall bits that weren't shown on Comedy Central.
Yes.
Like running
running
get running free. See the running Gee, run we're surrounded on all sides. What should we do? I don't know. Have you tried talking to them?
Jesus. And like, okay, yeah, I mean, they kind of have a shield for that because like half the cast is gay, but like
It's still an amazing
boy.
bit. This
Yeah.
guy that looks like Daniel Boone.
Yes. Well, and that's what the theme song was all about. Yeah, it was like riffing on that. So I'm just going to play a couple. I'm obviously, because of copyrighted music, I can't play them on the main episode, but I will give you the links in the show description. You can play along at home. This one by Super Saiyan Bardock is a re-upload of someone else's. It's Dragon Ball Z, Linkin Park. In the end, it is the stereotypical one that you think of when you think of an AMV. Of course, there's the intro.
This was uploaded 16 years ago.
However, again, this is a re-upload of someone else's video.
I can't. I
know.
Oh, this is like my fight or flight is going
Yeah?
like a dog's tail right now.
As in, like, what
Like
what
this is just uncomfortable. Like it's just like it's being embarrassed for someone who I will never know.
Oh, okay. So secondhand cringe, yes.
Yeah, like a Chris Cornell solo record.
Well, my personal favorite one was someone took the clips from Dragon Ball Z and put it on LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out. And again, I'll put the link in the show description so you can play along at home. Mama Said Knock You Out is a 5-minute song. I'm going to cut to my favorite bits here.
Yeah, this is like less offensive as a thing that exists.
Yeah, because I feel like this era of hip-hop fits with a show like DBZ, which is all about beating people's asses, right?
And also, they're just like showing all of the like cool animation that you would have to watch like 3 weeks of nothing happening on Toonami to see.
Oh, yeah, there is that. Yeah, they definitely condense 200 episodes into about 5 minutes. And the timing is pretty good. They usually get the hits on the drums and
Yeah, it's not bad. Like that actually shows some skill.
Now, as the art form evolved, they started getting into their emo phase. And this is when stuff like Evangelion AMVs started making the rounds. This one is a little bit more recent. It is Radiohead's 2 + 2 = 5. Everyone's got to be like, such and such studios.
Wet Walrus Incorporated. Wet Kisses Limited.
Mr. Pickles Productions presents. Now, I think because Evangelion as a whole had images that were very evocative is why a lot of AMVs chose it as a source material, because there's a lot of emotion and a lot of things that are kind of part and parcel of the image already. And then if you add a song that has kind of the same vibe, it's almost ready.
Yeah, this actually like fits pretty well.
Yeah, I've always felt that Evangelion ones, especially if they're paired with Radiohead, kind of feel like, okay, this makes sense. But also the editors here have really upped their game. There's these timed fades. They're editing on the beat. They're doing these transitions that work. Yeah, here's this entire sequence of just staccato images to the beat. And of course, they include images from End of Evangelion because that's what had just come out, as had that Radiohead album.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. This one is 2003. This was the 2003 AMV of the year. Right? This guy named Kupi Skiva. Right? From the anime Razafon. And
I'm not at all familiar with that.
Razafon was one in a series of kind of, we want to capitalize on how popular Evangelion is, so we're going to do a mecha show that has that kind of same vibe. And then Frau. So Frau, Imogen Heap was a duo that she'd done. They had a hit on the Garden State soundtrack. This is one of the lesser known songs from it called Must Be Dreaming. But again, this was 2003's AMV of the year. And what you gotta understand is that a lot of this stuff was not present in the original footage. So they're doing all these overlays, and so they're adding elements on top, mixing stuff in, and like the art form really took off at a certain point, I guess.
Yeah, there's some like real like thought and talent put into this. And it's not Linkin Park.
Right. Yeah, because it has a bit of a rep, like you said. Like when people think of AMVs, they think of Linkin Park and Dragon Ball Z, because those were like the lowest common denominator stuff.
That felt like 75% of all content on YouTube in 2007, 2008 was Dragon Ball Z AMVs set to Linkin Park.
And you wouldn't be wrong. That's the thing. It's like, no, you're not wrong. And but boy, AMVs, if you get a chance, really kind of go through some old history. I know a lot of stuff isn't available because, again, copyright infringement, but animemusicvideos.org is still around. I would recommend any listener of the show who's never really seen one in its entirety, go check those out, because those people there, and if you sort by like popular or whatever, you're going to see some DBZ, but you're also going to see some interesting work. The last note I'm going to give you about AMVs is that at the time, 2009, Funimation started cracking down. Now, Funimation is it's a big name now, but at the time, 2009, they were just kind of getting started in becoming the powerhouse that they are. Funimation has now really eclipsed a lot of the smaller companies as far as companies that are bringing anime to the States, doing dubs, getting all this stuff kind of put out to U.S. distributors.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was maybe 3 or 4. Funimation was the big one. You also had AD Vision out in Texas. You had a couple other ones. Manga, which was its own company. And then you had... the other ones aren't the important part. Funimation killed them all. Well, bought them all, but the principle of the thing is the same. They're all bought now by Funimation. Even Crunchyroll was eventually bought by Funimation. And so in 2009, there was a guy who was an infringement specialist who did an interview on Anime News Network, and the subject of AMVs was brought up. Bamboo is the name of the interviewer. And the gentleman who's working for Funimation goes by the name Evan. So Bamboo asked the question, so what about fan videos? Say AMVs. Would the Japanese companies have jurisdiction over that, or is that your territory? Evan responding, for elements of media that are owned by more than one party, such as the underlying animation, enforcement falls on the party with rights for that territory which it takes place. For AMVs and fan videos, we don't mind most fan videos, including AMVs. The main reasons are they often can serve a promotional purpose, and legally, they can sometimes constitute fair use. The basic thinking is this. If it whets the audience's appetite, we'll leave it alone. If it sates the audience's appetite, it needs to come down. And that was how they approached copyright when it came to AMVs, which, okay, if you're showing the best parts of the show, and it's got spoilers everywhere and all that, they were like, no, we'll take it down. To me, that seems like, okay, they're protecting what they can.
Right.
Now, of course, that has kind of gone away in the intervening years, but in those early days, that was kind of the attitude of those companies. I think they still serve a purpose, especially for people who are just learning how to make videos, how to edit. So do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite anime music video, Brian?
No.
No.
No. I like some anime. Very little.
Yeah. What's your favorite anime?
I think like the one that I really keep coming back to as of last couple of years is probably Perfect Blue.
Satoshi Kon cannot be touched. Now he did a series called Paranoia Agent. Have you seen that one?
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Well,
but yeah, Perfect Blue. Akira. Akira is just like I think everyone's like first like, at least our generation, like wow,
what is this? Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I didn't actually get to, I knew of Akira as a youngster, but I didn't actually get to see it until the DVD era. I rented it from a Blockbuster in 2001 or 2. Yeah, I really think probably like Perfect Blue, Akira. Evangelion. There was one I really loved quite a bit that I would catch on Sci-Fi as a kid.
Okay.
Called Green Legend Ran.
Yeah, it was a fantasy series, right?
It was just a movie, an OMV. It's uploaded on YouTube because no one really gives a shit about the copyright, and it's not a terrible rip, but it is a dub, and is rough.
Yeah.
The voice acting, you got very lucky to even have something of the quality of the original American dub for Akira,
which was all the guys who worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Kaneda! Yeah, I wore my fucking hype beast fucking Akira shirt to work the other day, and one of the fucking dudes on the other team saw me and started yelling Kaneda at me.
Hell yeah!
And I'm like, fuck.
There have been some great Akira AMVs too, but
yeah,
I think the first experience I had with Akira was seeing a clip of it on some late night talk show. I want to say it was the Tonight Show, but I can't imagine them showing anything about it. It was the one clip where the tank is firing the bullet at Tetsuo, and he stops it with his mind. And then the shell blows up, and they're like, that movie is playing in theaters now. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting anime from the mid to late 80s to the mid to late 90s, and it's all pretty much dog shit until the early 2010s.
It's a mixed bag. It really does depend on what you're looking for.
It's really not. It depends on. It depends if you're a sex pest that combs his hair over his eyes, and yes, there was lots of great anime in the 2000s, but there is a ton of dog shit, and I think only recently has the medium kind of bounced back.
Yeah. I'll agree with that for sure. Modern techniques and people who grew up on the 80s and 90s stuff becoming of the age to make their own. And it's definitely, there's peaks and valleys, but we're in a peak right now.
It's like pornography. There's too much of it now.
There is that too.
Speaking of
Speaking
too
of
much
pornography.
something, is it time for shock.jpg?
It is indeed.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
Man, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
Whatever you're showing me,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be vulgar.
Yeah. Oh, you know it is. You know
because
it
it's
is.
shock.jpg. But I'm thinking about like there's a guy at my job who's a little bit younger than me. And he's a real fucking go-getter. Like he's just like one of those people who are like, this is a dude that just wants to show people that like I'm more than what you think I am or what you might assume. Like this guy's driven to do something. I don't know if it's like to like get drunk and like crash his car into a wall, but like he's going somewhere. One of those kind of dudes.
Okay.
And he just like showed up the other day with a shirt that said Dr. Skin on it. I'm like,
All right. All right. All right. All right.
it's like I'm like at my desk like doing my fucking morning reports. I see him out of the corner of my eye. I'm just like
All right, dude.
it was like that's like the early 2000s version of wearing like a co-ed naked shirt.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And like this guy is too young. And I'm just like, does he even know? Did he just think it's did he see this at a thrift store and thought it looked cool?
Or maybe he's just a really big fan of like finding nude scenes in movies.
Like,
I don't
he's
know.
like-
Maybe he's like,
He's got a bunch of MPEGs or whatever fucking saved on his phone, cataloged.
he's got his entire DVD collection sorted by number of boobs in every scene. Yeah, he's got a spreadsheet.
Yeah. But he doesn't come off like a gooner.
Which is good. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's always really good when you say something about like, you know, he doesn't seem like a gooner. Like he seems like he belongs in society.
This is comforting.
It's good. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I would trust him with a sharp object. You know.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's
We
fine.
would trust him with a forklift, so I hope we would.
Sober enough to
Hey,
drive a
man.
forklift.
Hey. First of all, your safety harness isn't on for that cherry picker, aren't you? You gooning.
And you can just hear coming from his headphones. Yeah. No.
No, dude, you're gooning. I can tell. Like your posture, you're leaned over. I'm using the nursing room at work to goon. A little nursing kiosk.
I can tell you stories. I'll tell you that. That's for things I hate, I think. But in the meantime,
What we got? SplishSplash? Is
it's
that
called
what I saw?
SplishSplash. That's right.
Oh, my imagination.
It is running wild, I betcha. So this is from DrewPickles.com. DrewPickles.com was a repository of just random shit posts and nasty shit that this user Drew Pickles decided was worthy of sharing on the internet. This one is SplishSplash. SplishSplash. Now, the Andy Griffith song.
Is this what we showed Drew toothpaste?
Is it? The three old guys in the bathtub?
Yeah, because remember,
Oh.
it's funny because they're gay.
Damn it. Okay, well.
And maybe is it? It feels
I
feels
think-
very similar, unless this is just common content.
I don't know. Well, if it is, I've officially repeated myself after 111
God, these
episodes.
vice principals are really fucking each other in the ass.
So there's three old guys in a shower. They're all kind of washing each other down, and then all of a sudden the one in front bends over and accepts the pipe from the one in the middle. And again, the Andy Griffith
I
theme song
immediately
really,
want to defund Social Security.
yeah. And then the one in the back gets in on the action, and then it just cuts at the end, and it's like Lemon Party. It's like a lot of these other things. Like it's just old guys having fun. What do you want from
Guys
life?
being dudes.
I'm telling you.
Give me a 2-liter of fucking Dr. Pepper and a Bigfoot from Pizza Hut,
Yeah.
and that probably won't happen. But
No.
I'm really trying to think the scenario for me and two of my male friends to daisy chain butt fuck each other
In the shower.
in the shower. It looks cramped. I got to
It
spread
does.
out, man. I
Yeah.
got technique.
That's true. All three guys are, let's just be honest, overweight. I
Yeah.
mean, they're not skinny dipping style overweight. They're just, let's just say grandpa style. They got the gut. you know,
Oppo grandpa style.
open condom style. Yeah, they're just, you know, the normal looking dudes. And that's, to me, my favorite part about it is just like, oh, okay, it's just three guys having a shower time, and then the first one bends over, and you go, oh, this is no longer
No longer shower time. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still technically shower. It's a different type of shower time.
different type of shower time. Absolutely, this is what Donald Trump has to look forward to in prison.
I don't know what Donald Trump has to look forward to in prison.
He's not.
I think
he's not going to jail.
Germaphobe. I don't think he would.
He's not going to jail. I'm sorry.
They
No.
have to get the kid handcuffs.
His little teeny tiny hands. Robert Mueller is gonna do it personally.
Mueller, she wrote. What a time to be alive.
Indeed, indeed. Well, that was Splish Splash. This is the Breath Mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the Breath Mint.
Brian, because I am a gentleman and a scholar, I will allow you to take the first crack at it. What you got going on this week, brother? I can tell by your silence you have no idea.
I totally blanked. I should write shit down because
I
I'll be
know.
like during the week in between us recording, I'm like, oh, you know what? I could talk about this for a couple minutes. I got to photograph Waxahatchee. Is that how
Oh,
you
yeah.
pronounce it?
Waxahatchee, yeah.
Yeah. Her performance at the pageant. It was some tough lighting situation, and I made the most of it. I'm gonna let you all know something. When you see a music photographer post something all in black and white, that usually means the light was bad.
No.
Because you're just like, well, because your eye is always going to be much more forgiving than black and white.
Right.
With black and white than with color. So I pretty much edited all except for a couple things I submitted to the venue in black and white, just because like the lighting was just rough. And I think the pageant's lighting rig is a little tough for some LDs to kind of get a handle of. I don't know if they don't really have the same issue at Del Mar Hall.
Huh.
As far as like front light, because the above rig in the back of the stage is really good at the pageant, and the side lighting can be very good depending on like what they're looking for. But sometimes front light can just be really scarce. And I'm not like knocking anything. I'm just saying like sometimes I feel like, and you could have given like another half step of light there.
You think maybe it's just old habits, or maybe like the equipment's old or something like that?
No, because I think they recently did their light rig. I think really what it is that you have, it's like the square inverse of light, your fall off. And so I imagine that some LDs, some lighting directors, have their lighting set for a distance that is much shorter than what the pageant has, because it's such the dance that's such a long throw between where that light bar is at the front of the stage that illuminates the front. That is such a longer distance than I think a lot of other clubs.
Okay.
So if it's a 10 feet shorter, then it ends up being like 2 or 3 stops of light, I think, difference. It can't, it's been a while since I've had to think about like off camera flash and all that, but yeah, like I think that might be what it is. But it was tough light. I mean, it was a wonderful performance.
The last couple of Waxahatchee records have just been really great. I'm really.
It's not necessarily to my taste, but I understand. I understand why people like it. I understand. I respect the musicianship. Like I'm like, oh wow, this is like there's a lot of talent on the stage. Like
Yeah.
That's one of the things I will say about COVID. Is it cut a lot of the bullshit off the touring circuit. Also probably means that we're missing like some really phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
But also means there's just like a lot less bullshit. It sounds like a mean thing to say, but there's like a lot less just like bad music touring now. Like
Right.
it's usually all pretty, the bar has been raised.
Which is good.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
take
there's obviously like a bad side, but I don't really want to get into right now. It should be obvious if you have anything going on between your ears, the bad side of that, because a lot of people had to die.
Yeah, not great.
A lot of people had to die, so bad punk bands didn't tour outside of Nebromaham or wherever they're from.
Nehalem, California. Yeah.
Biloxi, Mississippi. The Bad Boys of Biloxi. Anyways, super cool show, and it's always really neat. The photographs a band where they're kind of still in awe of the fact that like this is happening, humbled that like this is like working, and like I really don't know how to describe it, and that's like cool, but also she's Catherine, she's kind of like in this spot where her crowd is starting to transition from like music nerds to like connoisseurs, people that read Pitchfork, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Stereo Gum. And it is kind of transferring to like normies. And that has always been like a really frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Because I had a guy fucking yell at me for taking photos.
Okay.
And I looked back at him and he's like, fucking move. And I'm like, are you fucking, like, I still mask up, but I'm like looking at him and I'm like screaming through my, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm like, I really want to be like, this isn't a fucking hockey game.
That's weird.
I had that happen in a long time. But I've also just had like a string of just like going to shows, working a 10-hour shift at my day job and going to a show and having no patience for friction.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Like I just like I like really like went over to the upstairs bar, packed up my camera gear, and just like walked straight out of the venue. Like I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I just don't really have like, oh, that was cool. Like some dude that got like dragged there by his girlfriend. The guy looked. I really shouldn't talk shit. But the guy looked like a failed Huckberry model.
Okay.
And there's probably like 2 people that listen like know what kind of guy I'm talking about. But you know, the 4 or 5 songs I saw were like, wow, this is really fucking beautiful and amazing. And then this douchebag yelled at me while I was working, and I'm like, yeah, I don't, you know what? I'm just gonna go fucking bed.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't need this.
Yeah, like, and that's why I'm not photographing High on Fire.
No.
Because I'm like, I don't really have any patience for bullshit. Like after.
Oh man, I wanted those negative approach pictures though.
Yeah, but you know what? When people are saying like, actually, man, like it's probably good that you don't go.
I know.
Because like it's gonna be a pain. Like people who are going as music fans, not as like writers or anything, because they want to see High on Fire and they want to see Negative Approach, kind of know this is gonna be a pain in the ass show.
Yeah, I know.
Like people are already coming into it being like, this is probably gonna be a little bullshit. It's a heavy metal show or a heavy music show in a venue that doesn't really do heavy music, and
I know.
It's gonna be like a bunch of fucking shitheads that like haven't been sober since the Rocket Bar opened.
Well, see, now I have to go because I want to see Negative Approach. But
Yeah, I'm just like
I know, tired.
I'll fucking photograph King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard. Because like I think that'll be fucking awesome. Like I'll put up like, well, I know there won't be any bullshit there because I've never had to deal with any real bullshit at the factory.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
So there's that, but that was cool. New Swami John Reese records, fucking pretty tight.
Okay.
How made you haven't listened to that?
I haven't. I've been listening to the new mixtape that Johnny Foreigner put out pretty much on repeat for the past month, in anticipation of their new album. That's pretty much that, and I've been listening to Tube Lord. Sorry, so a British band called Tube Lord. That's pretty much all I've been listening to. Oh. So I'll have to put the Swami. Okay, I'll put that on the list.
Yeah, it's John Reese. You know, Drive Like Jehu,
yes.
or the fuck it's called, Hot Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
He was working on something that was originally going to go on the Hot Snakes record, and he kind of shelved it, and then Homeboy died. Some of the stuff, he's like, really, this is something else than like a Hot Snakes record. So it's like, it's interesting. It's kind of a little bit of throwback, like roots rock, but it's also like pop punk. It goes a lot of different places.
Oh, damn. Okay. Those two things in combination, I go,
There's there's a couple songs on there that feel like oh, this definitely started out as a Hot Snakes song and it went somewhere else,
right?
Or you know, something like that. But it's like really cool. He got someone on that record, Rob Crow.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh shit. He got Rob Crow and a couple other people on that record, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's pretty tight. And John Reese is also, I think, probably the most underrated guitar players of his era.
That's called All of This Awaits You.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking tight.
Absolutely.
Like when I listened to it, I immediately thought of Bert.
Well, that's good.
I was like,
nice.
oh, this is a Bert record.
Yeah.
Like this is
okay. Well, then it would definitely be a me record because like he and I bond over so much stuff. And
oh yeah, man. Like you haven't gotten fucking hyped up about Ultimate Fake Book yet.
Oh No, I have. As soon as I saw the announcement, I was immediately hyped.
Is it November 2nd?
Yes, it is. The last time I saw them was when my band opened for them.
Yeah.
So
and you hurt Bert's back.
And I hurt Bert, and he has never forgiven me. And despite me attempting to apologize many times, jumped on his back in a fit of excitement, and he hurt himself. I hurt him.
Don't like his back. His back just did that.
Right. Yeah.
Completely just separate of whatever you were doing.
Just Mm-hmm. No, believe me, I was there.
I
was there.
Was it like 12, 11 years ago?
It was thereabouts. Yeah.
Jeez. God, I was skinnier. You had hair.
No, I didn't. I just knew how to hide it better. I did like this. I did like the little.
You did the comb forward.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did. Yes, absolutely. Every show.
No, you did. You kind of, but you kind of like also peaked it up.
Yes,
a little.
It was a whole thing.
It was an illusion. I'm glad you learned how to keep up the facade
for as long as I could. Yeah. So as far as Breathment goes this week, I really only have one thing, and it is that I finally, after 90 hours, put Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth to bed. And this is an epic fucking game. I've told you about this briefly when the game came out and when I first got it. It's the latest in the Yakuza series, and it is a million different games in one, Brian.
I heard it goes all over the fucking place.
It's amazing.
I've watched like the IGN review when it came out. I've listened to people talk about it on podcasts. And I'm like, this sounds amazing. It also sounds like beyond my comprehension.
It's a lot. It could have been 2 different games, and I would have been just as happy. Because it really is. Because one of them is Cosmic Kiryu from all the original Yakuza games, Yakuza 1 through 6, and even 0.
0's still my favorite.
And I would hardly agree. I think if anyone wants to start with the Yakuza games, start with 0. So in this storyline, Cosmic Kiryu is dying, which he's been dying for 3 different games now.
Like about 10 years.
But now it's like official. He's got cancer, and he meets up with Ichiban Kasuga in Hawaii. So it's the first Yakuza game to take place in the United States. It takes place in Honolulu, which I know people who are... Look, I know that Hawaii is occupied territory. I'm just, for the sake of the review, I'm just going to skate past it, okay?
They don't do a land acknowledgement?
They do not. And
it's problematic.
It is indeed. A lot of things are problematic in the Yakuza games, but that's, I think, the least of which. But they meet up, and there's this twisted storyline, and then they split up. And so there's 2 or 3 different chapters of the game where you're playing as Cosmic Kiryu, saying goodbye to old friends. They're going through the entire history of the game series, and you're meeting up with Date, and you're meeting up with... Because in the game world, he has faked his death to... I can't even remember why. It was the end of Yakuza 6, but he's faked his death to protect his family. Well, now that he's actually dying, he's going around, and so you've got that half of the game, which is Kiryu going around righting the wrongs, and the other half is the new guy starting shit in Hawaii. And I think, like, okay, if you're going to do a send-off for one character and a really big intro for the other one, this is the way you do it. And boy, there's so much in that game. There's an entire Animal Crossing bit called Dundoko Island. I'm not kidding. You can spend a good chunk of your time there just dicking around in this one mini game. And just, I mean,
I wasted the whole entire fucking afternoons on the fucking slot car.
Racing
minigame.
Yeah. Well, this is even more involved because you're like building shit and like putting, getting people to come to your island, and that's just one. And then there's a whole other thing which is a Pokemon ripoff called Sujimon, where you're capturing all these weirdos on the streets of Honolulu and then making them fight each other. I mean, it's got 4 entire different games in the one game, which is also just part of a game that there's so much game there. Like I said, 90 hours, and I'm not one to linger on an RPG, but this one, it grabbed me because I like Yakuza, because I like these characters. It kept my attention a lot more than most games. I think the only game that I've ever spent 90 hours on before this was probably Elden Ring, because I beat that fucker 4 times. So 90 hours to beat one time, that's pretty good. Boy, I cannot recommend it enough. It feels like they keep cramming shit into this game series, because as a side activity, you can go to an arcade and play Sega Bass Fishing, the arcade game.
That's awesome.
You can go play Virtua Fighter. You can do the crane game, the UFO catcher is what they call it.
Yeah.
You can go do an entire mini game where it's just you going around randomly generated dungeons beating the shit out of people. There's games within games within games in this one game. It well justifies the price tag. And for you Xbox users, I think you actually still have it on Game Pass.
I believe they do, yeah. I'm. If you're talking to me, I haven't had Game Pass since like we played that one game together.
I just mean in general.
Sure.
for those players out there who are Xbox people, it's just there's a lot of game. There's a lot of game there, and now that I'm done, I'm bereft. I don't know what to do. I started going back through and playing the Metal Gear Solid collection, and I'm getting my ass kicked in Metal Gear Solid 1. I guess I'm coddled by more modern games.
I don't feel like Metal Gear Solid 1 gameplay wise was super tight.
It's not even that. It's just it's hard. Like the Gray Fox fight, I got my ass. I spent an hour beating my head against the wall trying to beat that guy.
I've never had trouble with Metal Gear Solid.
I'm playing it on normal, and I think it's just because I haven't played that series in a while.
I think that style of gameplay is also really antiquated.
Right. And I guess I'm just trying to retrain my brain. I mean, Sniper Wolf took me like half an hour. Back. Okay, wait. So it's weird. It's weird going backwards. Because like arcade games you can pick up. Dreamcast stuff you can pick up. But for whatever reason, Metal Gear Solid, just the first one. I haven't played the rest of the collection yet, but I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to finish this.
I mean, you really should have gone and played 3.
Well, I mean, look, 2, I enjoyed 2.
Two is fine. It gets, I think the gameplay in 2 is really fun. The story is fine. There's stuff I think that's really neat. There's still things about that plot. Like, I understand what Kojima's trying to do with like memes and like the information over. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is said in that story that I think is really ahead of its time. It's really thoughtful. What is actually fucking going on, as in like the narrative?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I've listened to many podcasts about Metal Gear Solid 2. I still don't. Yeah. No one seems like they really like. So it was all a simulation.
Yeah, essentially.
But it was
a training simulation so that Raiden would become the next Solid Snake.
But like that shit really happened though.
Yes, but it happened to someone else. It's a simulation based on data that happened in reality. That's my understanding of it. Having not played the game in decades.
But like in Metal Gear Solid 4, like all that shit's canon. Like it's I'm so confused still. Yeah. Like it doesn't make.
Look, yeah, I'm with you. Metal Gear Solid has always been one of those things where you're just like, sure, okay, I'm gonna go along for the ride. I don't know.
That's why people like part of why I think people like Metal Gear Solid 5 so much was that even though a lot of people didn't play Peace Walker,
right,
and all of that,
which
like,
I did.
That narrative was the narrative between Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, and
Portable Ops
to Metal Gear Solid 5. If you had to read like a couple wiki pages, like, or Wikipedia pages to like understand the story beforehand, before Metal Gear Solid 5, like it's all pretty coherent. Like it makes sense. I mean, yes, Hot Coldman.
Oh, believe me, Death Stranding 2 is coming on, and I cannot wait to see what dipshit ass name Kojima gives someone. Like Die Hard Man. All right, man. Let's whatever. What do you got? What else you got?
Whatever, dude.
What else you got?
Anything that gives me more lace dough.
Exactly.
I suppose, but yeah. I'm really interested to see what Death Stranding. You played Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I thought
for a long. I think I played it 2 times.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into it, and I thought that the game. I thought it was flawed in a lot of ways, but also it was like there's also nothing else like this. And when
Yeah.
you do get the rhythm down,
It was a very singular experience, to
Yeah.
be sure. Well, I think,
but also a lot of things plot wise that didn't make sense.
yeah, and I think that's just kind of par for the course. It's a Kojima production. You're there for the ride. You know what I mean? Like it's more of a, and same with Metal Gear. I'm along for the ride. This doesn't have to satisfy any narrative sense. I can bask in the vibes for a while. You may not kind of get all the story stuff, but there's that moment, and I know you know it, where you're going to a place you visited in the first bit of the game, and you're going there to kind of wrap up your story, and it's just like 2 lines of dialogue, and it broke my fucking heart. I have not been affected by video games like that, other than games that are really well done, and I think that
I think there is a heart
yeah.
to Death Stranding, narratively, that it does hit on some things, and there is some really great performance. I mean, Norman Reedus, you should see him in the new Walking Dead thing, because he actually fucking carries it really well.
I can't buy in. I'll try it. I'll give it a shot. But
It's the best Walking Dead thing that's been made, better than the show, than the main show. It's actually, and it's only like 4 or 5 episodes. I was like, wow, this is actually like really cool. But it's like also like they had to fucking try. It's all like a new character, and they had to carry some bullshit over from like some other like
Fear the Walking Dead.
Some other the one that no one watched.
Yeah, it was Fear the Walking Dead.
No, Fear. We want to talk about a show that fell the fuck off.
Oh yeah,
Fear the Walking Dead was better than the mainline show for about 3 seasons.
Yep. And after that,
damn. Like once the Maori guy got like the end of after that season, it just fell apart. I'm like, what the fuck? It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah. It had a chance to do something interesting, and then it just chose not to.
Yeah. Oh well, they decided they didn't want to try.
You know what? There's a paycheck in it. We're gonna not do that.
You know, there's not a paycheck in podcast.
This podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell people where to find you online, Brian, so they can.
If you want to yell at me for doing my job.
Yeah.
If you want to make it about yourself, you can find me at ishotgidibord, ishotguidbord on Twitter, and a music photographer on Instagram. If you want to check out some photos, you want to check out my portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. You want to check out some photos with words. I haven't updated this since April, but I might be updating it soon. I'm not gonna. You'll just have to wait till next week, baby.
I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm rubbing my hands together.
The happy podcaster.
What's it called?
musicphotographer.com. And if you want to check out the last and only good music media website left in St. Louis, go over to theartsstl.com, where hopefully by this time next week, my King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard write-up will be live.
Let's go.
With some photos. I'm really enjoying that new record. Jason, if you've not listened to it,
I have not.
No, it fucking whips ass.
I'll put
It's
that on the
like
list.
what if Frank Zappa grew up getting hit in a cornfield?
Fuck, dude, that's right up my alley. All right, I will. Let me do that thing. But in the meantime, you can find me various places online as Video Crime. If there's Video Crime online, chances are it's me, with the notable exception of Instagram and TikTok. There I am, Laser Goose CEO, laser with an S, because I know how to spell. You can also find me as part of a podcast that is not this one, called Submitted for the Approval of the Midnight Pals. There, I play a fictionalized version of Stephen King. Season 2, mere moments away. We're getting there, buddy. And we're very excited. It's going to be October-ish. But that is midnight-pals.simplecast.com or anywhere where podcasts are sold. You can reach the show in a myriad of different ways, but my favorite way is the telephone. 314-246-9766, 314-AHOY POO. If you like to spell with your telephone, leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you'd like to see on the show. I don't know, maybe tell us what your favorite anime music video was. Whatever it is, do that very thing. If you don't feel comfortable talking on the phone, I understand. Believe
You know what?
me.
You know what? We're gonna give the folks a good topic here. What would be the funniest way to chicken out of a murder-suicide?
The funniest way to chicken out of a murder-suicide. Okay, you now have your assignments. 314-246-9766. Give us a call. Leave us a message, and we will play it on the next episode. You can also shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com, Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. We accept pretty much anything there, compliments, complaints, recipes for cake, manifestos, whatever it is that you got there. And you can support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. There you will have our weekly post-show hangout, thanks, I hate it, and also whatever else comes to our stupid little brains, like the Mind Zone. The Mind Zone. I did my own Mind Zone, by the way.
You got your own for the next time. Next time we don't have time to record.
No. It's coming out before this episode airs, so you will have already heard it, Patreon members. I do 20 minutes on film and Gita Board. It's great. You'll love it. It's all set to that same song, too. And that type of thing is going to be on the Patreon. We're also doing, if we get 10 members at the $10 level, we are going to record the 90-minute commentary track for the Japanese puke fetish video, Garo Monster Home Delivery. And you know what? Even if we don't do 10, we're going to do it anyway. Fuck it. If you want to be part of it, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. That is dogs. 40 minutes of dogs. Well, as we always say at this time, namaste, good luck, give mommy a good gut fucking, eat the knife.
Who ate all the pussy?